In this video, we'll talk about how highly successful people develop self-discipline. What most people have in common with successful people is ambition, but where certain fall short and others excel is in the area of self-discipline. According to Dennis Prager, happiness is dependent on self-discipline. The biggest hurdle in achieving our goals is how easily we let ourselves be distracted by things that do not count as progress towards our achievements. However, practicing self-discipline is not easy and demands real commitment. In order to develop self-discipline, you must follow certain steps that will help you attain your goals. Here are the top habits of successful people that helps maintain self-discipline, which ultimately helps them achieve their goals. Vision. Highly successful people know exactly where they want to be in life. They know exactly where you want to go. It is impossible to be successful without knowing where you want to be. In order to be successful, create a vision board. Curate pictures and quotes that motivate you to achieve what you want and look at it before you start your day. This will help you align your tasks with goals. In order to visualize, you must have a conscious purposefulness, which helps you in clearing up your headspace. Prioritize. Another thing about self-disciplined people is that they finish their important tasks before they allow themselves any indulgences. It's very important to prioritize everything so that you face less distraction during your day. Getting important tasks done first relieves the pressure of an undone task and also gives you plenty of time to be productive for the rest of the day. For instance, if working on your next project will help you be successful in the future, then it's important you work on it before you let yourself spend time with friends or on the phone, etc. As the saying goes, being lazy is the best reward for finishing tasks now. Say no to distractions. The strongest habit of highly successful people is their courage to say no to distractions. Successful people are just as prone to get distracted by social media and hangouts as you, but they square up and say no in order to work toward their goals. This does not mean that you can never indulge with social media presence or go out with friends, but prioritizing your work is important. Many people lack courage to say no to a hangout when they know they should be working. Once you've learned to say no, you will notice that you are moving towards your goals. It's so easy to get distracted by people who are chilling, but don't get distracted by people who are not on track. Handle one task at a time. When you feel motivated, don't lose reality. Highly successful people are realistic with their to-do lists. If you have spent a lot of your days procrastinating, then it's impossible to suddenly finish everything in a day. Start by trying to focus on one task at a time instead of overwhelming yourself with the thoughts of everything that's not finished. If the finish line feels too far away, don't look at it. Keep yourself focused on what you have at hand and make sure that you do your best while you're at it. Divide up goals. Once you have a bigger goal in mind, it's important that you divide it into smaller chunks. You need to know that all the steps that you must take in order to achieve what you want. Instead of moping around, get realistic. Divide your goal into what needs to be done each day, each week, each month, or in 6 months. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Oh, you can't expect everything you want to magically appear in front of you. It takes hard work, and every successful person in history put that hard work in to cash their goals as reality. Rewards and breaks. You cannot stay focused unless you give yourself sufficient breaks during the day. Every business, school, or workplace has breaks after a certain period because the body cannot function continuously for so long without resting. So, if you want to keep distractions at bay, it's essential to take breaks during the day or working period. It's important that you acknowledge your hard work because your mind is more likely to stay focused on goals when you give it breaks. Otherwise, you'll physically and mentally feel overwhelmed and burn yourself out. After each day of doing what you intended to do, reward yourself. An hour of social media, dinner with friends, or just staying in and chilling on your own. This will also energize you and motivate you to work the next day. Make sure that you take one day each week where you don't do anything. This is important in order to give you a break before you start working again. Learn from mistakes. Another thing that highly successful people do is learn from their mistakes instead of quitting. So what if you made a mistake? It only adds to your experience, and it teaches you how to maneuver things better. Every time you make a mistake, remind yourself that it's a blessing. The more mistakes you make, the more you take yourself on the right path. Every goal is an accumulation of lessons that you learned from your mistakes along the way. Rise above feelings. When we know what we need to do, our feelings can be contagious and deceptive. We can make ourselves believe that we can take a break after one day of working hard or 2 days of working hard. Consistency is the key to achievement. Don't argue with the plan you've made for yourself. It's only habitual to deny hard work because we've become accustomed to laziness. If you want to achieve something, don't be passive to feelings that lead to destruction of your plan. You'll have plenty of time for laziness, self-pity, and fatigue when you're done with your tasks. Love what you do. It is important that you look at hard work as a positive trait rather than something that strains you. When we force ourselves to work hard, it's natural to hate it because we cannot waste time anymore. Successful people love their work, and therefore it's easier for them to put in the effort that is needed to achieve their goals. Whenever you feel distressed because of all that you need to get done, remind yourself why you're doing it in the first place. This will help you develop a positive mindset towards your work. Manipulate energy. Self-disciplined people do not burn themselves out. Instead, they devote their effort to tasks that need energy. Sometimes people make mistakes of building up all their energy for a task that does not need as much energy, and later they feel tired or fatigued because they used it all up. In order to achieve your goals, know what demands your active motivation and what you can do without using effort. This is a difficult task for those who are starting from zero. Therefore, start by taking up one task and perfecting it until it becomes habit. Then add another and slowly build it up. Relax, but don't get too comfortable. Your mind will fool you into believing that you've done a lot when you achieve one goal, but it is not always true. In a nutshell, you can keep reading tips on self-discipline, but the real effort is to apply them in real life. Instead of looking around for more tips, start practicing them now. As perhaps one of his most famous quotes, Steve Jobs said, "If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do what you're about to do?" Always look ahead in the future. If you dream of success, then it's time to push away all your distractions and start working on your goals.